So this is going to be a particularly restful session today, and we're going to look at deep rest and how we can rest, because I know from conversations I've had with you before, particularly those of you on the Facebook group, that rest for some people can be quite difficult to access, and yet it is the most healing tool that we can have available. So we can take all the vitamins we like, we can eat clean, whatever else we're doing, but actually it really is the deep rest, if we're able to access it, that helps. So I'd like to invite you, first of all, to come to a comfortable lying position. And I'll be turning my camera off soon anyway, so you don't need to keep looking at the screen at me. And just think about how you want to rest, because ideally you want to be in a space where you won't need to move, so that you're not distracted. Obviously your phone is off. But having said that, if you've got external sounds and they do distract you, just try to allow them to be part of your experience. So just take a moment to actually welcome and come into your physical being. And just explore how the mind is. It's often the mind that disturbs us from resting, maybe because it's too activated. This is something I want to look at next week, when yet again we need to look at nervous system regulation, because it's such a big key for recovery. But if we're activated, the mind is often going very fast. And of course, there's lots to activate us in the external world. Personally, I find it helpful to remind myself that my thoughts run stories and they're not true. So for example, I've got something particular going on at the moment in my life to do with a relationship. And if I go walking or whatever I'm doing, my mind tends to run off into circular conversations and agitating thoughts. And then I just remind myself, this is just my mind making up stories. Don't have to buy into it. So if you've got that situation going on in your life, if you're worried about something, just remember we don't know what's going to happen next. And do your best to use your body like a portal to come into the present moment. So just explore how you're feeling, making any final adjustments you might need to make yourself comfortable. And then see how that emotional body is doing, as well as the mental body. See how the breath is, because the breath often informs us how our nervous system is. So just observe this without judgment. So we're being curious and accepting and kind. We're not judging anything. We're just taking time to connect with ourselves, to see how we are. And as always, we're not going, oh my goodness, I'm so tired, or I'm so agitated, or I'm in pain, because that's more resistance. We're just allowing, if we can, our experience to be what it is. And we're accepting all those parts of ourselves with kindness. Because unless we do that, it's harder for us to get into a state of deep rest. So now, before we go into the deep rest, let's do some gentle breathing, because this really helps to dial down the nervous system. It helps to bring the parasympathetics in, which is an easier state to rest from. So from lying, have one hand on the heart, the other on the belly, and just breathe into that hand that's on the belly. And see if you can allow the breath to begin to slow down. And if you're finding that hard, or the hands on the chest is still moving, that's okay too. This is just something to aim for. And if you can, breathe through the nose. And we breathe through the nose because that helps to increase nitric oxide, which helps with vascular dilation, but also there are hairs in our nostril which help to filter out impurities, and it helps to cool down and get the air to the right temperature before it comes to the lungs. So there's all kinds of reasons why we breathe through the nose if we can. And then just for a moment to focus on your out breath, and if you can, allow the out breath to be long, subtle and smooth. And again, if you can't access that, that's okay. Just something to aim for. So we're not breathing deeply, breathing low. The breath is low, slow and subtle. And now still focusing on the exhalation, we're going to hum the breath out for the next 3 to 5 breaths in your own breathing rhythm, in your own tone. Inhale through the nose, exhale through pursed lips. When you finished your 5 out breaths, drop your hands back beside the body and just breathe normally. And take a moment to think about your posture. So I always suggest if you're lying, you have something under your head to help the back of the neck to lengthen. Classically, your arms are away from the body with the palms turned up, a bit of space under the armpits. If that's not comfortable, you can turn the palms down, you can rest them on the belly. And you might start with the knees bent, or you might by now have stretched out your legs. And if that's the case, have the feet apart. And then again, do your check-in. We've only just done some breathing, but just observe if that's making you feel a little quieter, a little more present in this moment. And then just take your awareness around your body, scanning your body and relaxing the jaw, softening around the eyes, particularly paying attention to softening the neck and the shoulders. And if it helps, you might like to turn the head from side to side, or you might like to draw the shoulder blades together and then release them. And then just feel on every exhalation that you are releasing further and further into your support. So the body's becoming more heavy and more relaxed with every out breath. Relax around the hips and the belly. Relaxing all the fingers, the hands and the arms. relaxing the upper leg and the lower leg. And feeling that the earth is holding you and supporting you. And now, before we go into our deeper rest, just think about a safe resource that you can think about if you need to come out of the relaxation. So a safe resource is something either in your mind, or it could be something physical, like it could be an object that you like to hold on to, like a stone. If it's something in the mind, it might be a pet that you think of, or a person who makes you feel safe, or it might be a place or an experience that you can remember. So just think about your safe resource, your safe place. And also, if you have a positive intention that you like to use, a sankalpa, you might like to just think about what your positive affirmation is. We always suggest that if you're doing a deep relaxation, that you keep this the same, because the more you program your mind with your positive affirmation, the more you're drawing it in, and you are going to create that as your reality, particularly when you're quiet. Because as the mind becomes quiet, you drop into stillness. You drop into, some call this the quantum field, before reality becomes either a particle and a wave, or a wave, and you have the opportunity then to create your world. So just take a moment or two to think about what your resolution is. And then we're going to go into our deep relaxation. I'm going to put my headphones on actually for this, because it's a little bit... Still got some background noise here. So hopefully you can all hear me now. Thank you, Sue. Thank you. So the deep rest we're doing today is from Richard Miller. So I'd like to credit him. And although I'm going to amend it, it's from his iRest program, which I found personally very helpful over the years. And also I like to use it with people I work with. And I'm just going to read out something he says about thinking before we go into this, because I came across this in the book and I thought this would be very helpful. So Richard Miller says, working with thoughts is a lot like encountering a bear in the wild. If you run from your thoughts will chase you. You cannot outrun a bear, nor can you outrun your thoughts. Being prepared for encounters with negative thoughts is your best way of surviving thought attacks. Welcoming opposites of thought, which we're going to do in the practice today, teaches you skills to survive thought attacks. So in the practice, we're going to use welcoming opposites of thought, which help us when we encounter a negative or intense thought. It helps us to stop and sense the thought we're having, to stay calm, to face the thought, to speak with authority to the thought, and to take appropriate action. Thoughts are constantly changing. As thoughts change, they go through 5 stages: birth, growth, stability, decay, and death. Every thought you have is born and will die.
When you identify with negative thoughts, you may take these thoughts to be your only truth. When you do that, you become stuck in the mud of negative thought patterns. And when you get stuck in negative thought patterns, these thoughts will keep reoccurring, trying to get your attention. It may feel like you're never able to change reoccurring thoughts, such as I'm ill, I'm tired, I'm not enough, could have done it differently. But in actuality, thoughts do change. Remember, just like feelings and emotions, your negative thoughts are messengers. They're trying to show you the positive actions you can take to help restore health and harmony in your life. When you face your thoughts and take the actions to break your negative thought cycle, you truly start to heal. So, as I said, we'll be looking at changing our negative thought patterns in this particular practice. And obviously, if anything becomes overwhelming, just please pay attention to your safe resource. So we're going to start the deep rest by making any final adjustments your body needs so you feel comfortably supported by the surface you're resting on. Release unnecessary tension in your jaw, shoulders, arms, torso, legs, the entire body and mind, just making the aim to settle into a feeling of being at rest and at being of ease. During this practice, welcome every experience you have as a messenger that's here to help you experience health, healing, and well-being at all levels of body, mind, and spirit. Welcome every messenger as it arrives with curiosity and openness. Allow your senses to be open to your environment and any sounds around you. Welcome the feeling of air touching your skin. The sensations where your body touches the surface that you're lying on. And a feeling of letting go and being at ease throughout your entire body and mind. If you can, welcome a feeling of life living you with purpose, meaning, and value. And silently say to yourself, I am a unique and valued expression of life. Life is living me with meaning. And do your best to experience this as true with your entire body and mind. Bring to mind now your positive affirmation, your intention for the practice, your intention that supports you to live in a heartfelt way, and feel and affirm your attention with your entire body and mind is true in this moment as you repeat it 3 times to yourself silently. And now bring attention to your safe resource. So this might be a place in your body where you experience a felt sense of well-being and of being secure and at ease. So like the softness of your hands or your breath. If it's helpful, you might like to imagine a place, person, or experience that helps you feel secure and at ease. And just use all of your senses to enhance your experience. You might like to imagine sounds, sights, sensations, smells, tastes even, that invite ease and well-being into your entire body and mind. And just know you can return to this safe resource whenever you need during this practice, or even when you're not in the practice. You can use this to take a momentary time out to rest and restore. And we're now going to rotate the awareness throughout the body while we experience and welcome all sensations. You may feel something or nothing at all. Whatever you experience is perfect just as it is. Sense your jaw inside your mouth. Inner lips and gums, tongue, inside the right cheek, inside the left cheek. The entire inside of your mouth. The entire jaw and mouth as sensation. Give up thinking and just welcome sensation in the jaw and the mouth. Sense the left ear, right ear, the sensation of both ears at the same time. Sense your left nostril, right nostril, and become aware of the flow and temperature of the air and the sensation inside both nostrils. Feel the sensation of the left eye, eyebrow, temple, cheekbone, the entire left eye area. And now the right eye, eyebrow, temple, cheekbone, the entire right eye area. Welcome both eyes at the same time as sensation. Without thinking, just feel the sensation of the forehead, scalp, back of the head, neck, the entire face, head, and neck as sensation. Sense your left shoulder, left upper arm, forearm, wrist, palm, fingers. The sensation of the entire left arm and hand. And now become aware of the right shoulder, the right upper arm, forearm, wrist, palm and fingers. The sensation of the entire right arm and hand, and welcoming both arms and hands at the same time, just as sensation. Sense the upper chest, heart center, belly, sensation of the upper back, mid-back, lower back, the entire back of the body, and the entire front of the torso, and then the whole torso, front and back, inside and outside, as shimmering sensation. The entire torso as shimmering sensation. Bring attention into the pelvis, left hip, left upper leg, knee, lower leg, ankle, foot, the sensation of the entire left foot, leg, and hip. Be aware, get relaxed and at ease, sensing now the right hip, right upper leg, knee, lower leg, ankle and foot, the sensation of the entire right foot, leg, and hip. And welcome both hips, legs, and feet all together as radiant sensation. Welcome the entire front of the body, a field of sensation, back of the body, left side of the body, right side, inside the body, outside of the body, the skin as your safe container, the entire body as shimmering sensation. Now become aware of the right side of the body and the left side of the head. And feel the right side of the body as heavy and deeply relaxed. Just the right side of the body and the left side of the head. And now become aware of the left side of the body and the right side of the head. The heaviness and relaxation of the left side of the body. And now become aware again of the entire body a shimmering sensation. Note how you're the observer, watching all of these sensations coming and going, everything just as it is. Feel yourself being non-judging awareness in which all these sensations come and go. Silently affirm to yourself, I am resting deeply. My body is deeply at rest. I am at ease. I am resting. And now sense the body breathing itself and the natural flow of sensation as the breath enters and leaves the nostril, and the gentle rise and fall of the abdomen as you breathe. And now begin counting from 1 to 11 with the breath, or just sensing your belly rising and releasing with each breath. So like this, inhaling, belly rising, 1. Exhaling, belly dropping, 1. Inhaling, belly rising, 2. Exhaling, belly dropping, 2. And so on. With each count, tension releases throughout your entire body. Continue counting on your own, and during each exhalation, feel a deep release of tension throughout your body. When you count to 11, or if you lose count, begin again at 1. Sensing and releasing tension, welcoming deep relaxation throughout your body. Now, allow the counting to fall away, but keep with a long, smooth exhalation, feeling tension releasing throughout the entire body, jaw, ears, eyes, forehead, scalp, shoulders, belly, legs. Tension releasing throughout the whole body, the body just breathing itself. Remain attentive to the flows of sensation throughout the body, just sensing the body as a field of shimmering sensation. Sense how you are the observer of all that's now present in your awareness, aware of all that's present, sensations, thoughts, images. Affirm to yourself, I am aware, awake, practicing resting deeply and resting at ease. And now welcome any feelings that are present. Perhaps a feeling of warmth, heaviness, or a feeling of being at ease. Without changing anything, just welcome any feelings that may be present, just as they are. And now locate opposite feelings. If you're sensing warmth, find coolness. If heaviness, sense lightness. If ease, then tension. Without going into thinking, just sensing. Then come back to the original feeling. And then feel its opposite again. When you're ready, move back and forth between opposites at your own pace. If it feels right, welcome both opposites at the same time, experiencing how this impacts your entire body and mind, not with thinking, just sensing. Feel yourself as the observer who's observing all these feelings that are coming and going in your awareness. Feel yourself being non-judging awareness in which all of these movements are coming and going. And now welcome an emotion that's present in your body, or recall an emotion that you're working with in your life. And if no emotion is present, just be with what's most calling your attention right now, an emotion or maybe another sensation. And remember, you can always return to your safe resource whenever you feel the need to take momentary time out. If an emotion is present, Where and how do you feel it in your body? Are there thoughts or images that accompany this emotion? Welcome your experience with kindness, just as it is, without judging or trying to change it. And now locate an opposite emotion and see where and how you experience this opposite in your body. If it's helpful, recall a memory that invites this opposite of emotion more fully into your body. If it feels right, move back and forth between these opposites, experiencing first one and then its opposite in your own time, just sensing how each emotion affects you physically. And then sense both emotions at the same time, experiencing how this affects your entire system, body and mind. Just sense how you are the observer of all that's now present in your awareness, aware of all that's present, sensations, thoughts, images. Affirm to yourself, I am aware, I'm resting, resting at ease. Notice and welcome any thoughts that are present, seeing them as objects that come and go, observing and noticing them as they appear and disappear without getting involved. If it feels right, welcome a particular group of thoughts that form a belief or self-judgment that you take to be true about yourself and fall into believing at times. And if no belief is present, this too is okay. Welcome whatever is most present in this moment. And if a belief is present, where and how do you feel it in your body when you take it to be true? Just welcome memories, emotions, sensations that naturally arise without judging or trying to change your experience. And if this belief had an opposite, what might its opposite be? Bring to mind the opposite of your belief or self-judgment. Where and how do you feel it in your body when you take this opposite belief to be true? There's no right or wrong answer. Your experience is perfect just as it is. And stay with your experience as it is. Now return to the original belief or judgment, welcoming your experience with curiosity and openness. At your own pace, go back and forth several times between these opposites, experiencing first one, then the other, with your entire body and mind. When it feels right, welcome both beliefs at the same time, experiencing how this impacts the mind and body. And be aware of all that's now in your awareness, sensing how you are the witness of all that's arising. Aware of sensations, emotions, thoughts. Affirm to yourself, I am aware. Practicing deep rest. I am resting at ease. And now bring attention to sensations of well-being or joy in your body, or recall a memory of a particular person, animal, place, or circumstance that invites joy or well-being in your body. Experience this feeling of well-being or joy expanding throughout your entire body, every cell in your body, welcoming its natural sense of joy and well-being. Perhaps experiencing an inner smile coming from your heart throughout your entire body. Joy, well-being, flowing throughout the body, face, torso, arms and legs, your entire body alive with the feeling of being present in this moment, well-being in this moment, and joy. And be aware of all that's now in awareness, while dissolving into the spacious openness in which all of these changing activities are coming and going. And as you're aware of all that's in your awareness, just sense how you're the observer of all that's arising, aware of sensations, emotions, thoughts, joy. Affirm to yourself, I am aware, practicing resting at ease. And now set aside thinking and memory and settle into simply being. Nothing to do, nowhere to be, just the delightful feeling of being. Notice how you're aware of being an observer of this feeling of being and everything you're experiencing. Allow yourself to dissolve into being awareness. All sense of separation dissolving. Be awareness in which everything is arising. Sense how all of your thoughts, emotions, sensations, and sounds are just movements in awareness. Feel your true nature as this spacious openness of awareness, and how, as awareness, you're everywhere, nowhere specific, yet present as awareness, in front, behind, left, right, inside, outside, formless, yet presence. Rest here, being awareness. feeling your non-separate wholeness with all of life, aware, at ease, everything just as it is. Sensing your non-separate wholeness connected to yourself, the world, and all of life. Just rest here now. And now welcome the environment and sounds around you. Sensations of warmth or coolness on your skin. The touch of air on your skin. The sensations where your body touches the surface that's supporting it. And bring your attention to yourself or to another towards whom you feel or would like to feel gratitude. Think of what you or the other person has said or done for which you feel gratitude. Notice the sensations, emotions, and thoughts that come to you as you think of yourself or this person, what you, she, or he did or said. In your imagination, just say how grateful or thankful you feel. Notice these words and a feeling of gratitude and how it affects your body, minds, emotions, and thoughts. At some point, let go of thinking about what you're grateful for and just experience a feeling of gratitude in your body without attaching this feeling to a person, activity, or action. Welcome a feeling of gratitude just as it is, right here, right now, for no reason at all. And now take a few moments to welcome a feeling of gratitude for yourself for taking this time to experience your wholeness and healing, and for taking time for practicing resting deeply. Just know that after you return to your daily life, you are the underlying, non-separate wholeness of life, seeming separate, but in fact never separate, always whole. If you have a positive resolution and intention, please repeat it 3 times silently to yourself with meaning, feeling, emotion. Feeling it in your body. The invitation is to remain resting if you would like. Otherwise, just allow your senses to start to open to your environment. Any sounds around you. And taking your time before we transition back into everyday wakefulness. So just start by beginning to move the body a little in any way that feels right. Maybe moving fingers and the toes first. Maybe stretching or drawing the knees in and rocking. And when you're ready, roll to one side and just rest there for a moment or two.